Well, Tom, on this segment, we're going to go into something a little different. Oh, everybody saw how you made those two nice light tackle rods. Now we're going to do a little something different. We're going to get into the general maintenance of both rods and reels, but specifically reels. In my industry, like, as a carpenter or anybody else, the rod and reel is a tool to me. And so therefore I have to maintain my tools so they will not break down, because if they break down it costs me money to get them fixed.
Sure.
I have to have backups to replace something that might break on a trip, things like that. So, and over time we learn various ways and things to look for. But the general public who just goes out fishing may not know of some of these things. Now, you as the person who repairs these rods and reels see various common problems that people have when they bring things into repair. So therefore, you'll know how to tell them to maintain the rods and reels. We're not here to show them how to fix them. We are here to show them how to maintain them so they don't break down as much. And it's sort of like putting yourself out of business in a sense.
Never happened.
Okay.
Never happened.
Well, I realize that. The general public being what it is and human beings being what they are. But at least we can keep it to a minimum. So what are some of the ordinary, everyday problems you see in the rod and reel repair?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to understand, the reels today are not your father's reels. Years ago, when a company made a reel, it was designed to last 10, 15 years. They were the John Deeres, if you will, of reels. Today, most reels manufactured, every manufacturer, they're sports cars. They have smaller gears, higher ratios. When the original 130s came out, the Senators, they were 1-to-1. And it was an incredible achievement when they went to 2-to-1. Today, we're 5-to-1, 6-to-1. I mean, the gears are very, very different. And with that, we use a lot more ball bearings today, whereas your father's reels use sleeve. What I'm saying is the maintenance. You used to be able to put it off. You put it off now, and like I tell people, pay me now, pay me later. And later is going to cost you a lot more money. Every year, your reel should be brought in, clean, and lubed professionally.
Okay, well, as we do this segment, because this is going to be a half-hour show, we're going to get into, we're going to do a little segment on spinning reels, and another segment on conventional reels, and then a segment of the rod and reel in combination. So, what you should do when you get in from fishing, washing it down with fresh water. For example, something I was taught was, you don't put the hose on full blast.
True.
That actually pushes the dirt into the reel. You put it on a very fine mist and shake the water off, and there's other things that you go through as far as lubricating the reel every so often, various things like that. But what is the one? Is there a one thing that seems to be the evil of reels that you see as the most common problem that comes in? And we'll start, let's say, with a spinning reel. What is the first
most common
thing?
problem is the owner.
No. I mean with the reel itself.
All right,
I mean,
what you have to understand, just like cars, all right? Reels today, I phrase it this way. There's 3 types of reels you can buy today. You can buy a reel that you're going to give to your son or your daughter. It's going to last 20 to 30 years. Something like that would be a Van Staal, all right?
Yeah.
Or one of the high-end Shimano's.
Okay.
Second, if you're going to buy a reel that you want to last, 5 to 8 years, maybe push it to 10, I consider one of the midline reels, a Shimano, a Daiwa, some of the real nicer reels. If you want a reel that's going to last you a summer, maybe 2 summers, it's all about the price point. Remember we said before, the owner and the maintenance, it's what's inside the reel today. Depending upon the metallurgy they use, the longer it's going to last. But as we said, without question, the owner is the key to the whole thing. You've got to take care of your gear. You can't just fish it. Even if you don't catch fish, you're still in that environment. You have got to rinse it down. Rinse it with fresh water. That's number one. That's foremost. it's going to cure 90% of the problems, aside from bringing it in yearly and having it serviced.
Okay, Tom. Now, what we're going to do on the next segment we're gonna show is going to be the maintenance of a spinning reel. You're going to show the various points that should be lubricated on a regular basis, the places that you want to check to make sure that there's no sand in, the various lubricants that you're going to use, things like that. You know, and to keep your reel in good working order as you use it from, you know, day to day. And some of the things maybe to look for that may be about to go wrong, so it's a minor fix versus a major fix. Okay?
I think probably the first thing, Hap, again, we talk rinsing the reel. As you had mentioned, and I absolutely concur, when you rinse the reel off after you've gone fishing, you don't want what the firefighters call a straight stream. You don't want to blow the reel from this dock to the next dock, because what you're actually doing, the salt and the sand, you're driving them in. Much as when you're motoring back from fishing, you don't want to leave your gear in the gunnels. Put them up on the launcher. I strongly recommend you use the little bonnets for the internationals. Yeah, just make sure you rinse it well with a light stream of water, thoroughly. That's the rod as well as the reel. Don't be afraid to take your spool off and rinse underneath. A lot of the salt they like to hide, but we're going to get more into the actual maintenance in a future episode.